Good morning, everyone. Thank you for listening to this recording. If you haven't already, preview my other recordings, as I believe you will receive a lot of insight into them about what is going on in today's world and the spiritual and literal aspects. There are several commentators out there that are speaking eloquently on current events. And while this channel does dive into that, it also will tell you what is going to happen or most likely to happen. So this is the second part of my series on white people, those in particular who may be found to have the ability to assist the children of Israel to New Jerusalem. They are not required to be our friends. They are not even required to love us. But the appeal is to their sense of right and wrong. I'm going to read you something real quickly out of the Bible. And by the way, I use the Bible is because it is the book that is known throughout the world by many, many nations. There are other spiritual books out there in the world, but they are not known. And so consequently, for people that are not in a particular faith or have not been enlightened by the Most High, many of my books that I have will only confuse them. And that's not what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for what context that they can grab towards. In the book of Joshua, it says in chapter 1, verse 1 and 2, it says, "After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spoke to Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' assistant, saying, 'Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, you and all this people, to the land which I am giving to them, the children of Israel.'" And that's chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. And then I want to skip over to chapter 2, verse 1, where it says, "Now Joshua, the son of Nun, sent out 2 men from Acacia Grove to spy secretly, saying, 'Go, view the land, especially Jericho.' So they went and came to the house of a harlot named Rahab and lodged there." It goes on to say in verse 2, "It was told the king of Jericho, saying, 'Behold, men have come here tonight from the children of Israel to search out the country.' So the king of Jericho went to Rahab, saying, 'Bring out the men who have come to you, who have entered your house, for they have come to search out all the country.'" And here's the key part. In verse 4, "The woman took the 2 men and hid them. So she said, 'Yes, the men came to me, but I did not know where they were from.' And it happened as the gate was being shut, when it was dark, that the men went out. Where the men went, I do not know. Pursue them quickly, for you may overtake them." And in verse 6, it goes on to say, "But she had brought them up to the roof and hid them with the stack of flocks which she had laid in order on the roof." So it goes on to say that King Jericho went on with his men to kind of look for the 2 spies of Israel. And then later in the chapter, it tells you what Rahab went to do for the 2 men that Joshua had sent into over the land in Jordan. It goes on to say in verse 6, but she had brought them up to the roof and hidden them with a sack of flocks, and I already read that. So in verse 8 it goes, now before they laid down, she came up to them on the roof and said to the men, I know that the Lord has given you the land, that the terror of you has fallen on us, and that all the inhabitants of the land are faint-hearted because of you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when we came out of Egypt, or when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the two kings of the Amorites who were on the other side of the Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom you utterly destroyed. She went on to say, as soon as we heard these things, our hearts melted, neither did they remain any more courage in anyone because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God, in heaven above, on earth beneath. And then she asked, now therefore I beg you, swear to me by the Lord, since I have shown you kindness, that you also will show kindness to my father's house, and give me a true token. Spare my father, my mother, my brothers, my sisters, and all that they have, and deliver our lives from death. And in verse 14 it says, so the men answered her, our lives for your lives. That's the deal. Our lives for your lives. If none of you tell the business of ours, and it shall be, when the Lord has given us the land, that we will deal kindly and truly with you. And so it goes on to state that Rahab did deliver them out of the city. They were able to go back to Joshua, tell Joshua everything that was going on. And then they were able to go in and do the work of the Lord, which is take over the city or the landmass that they will occupy and call Israel, or the promised land, basically. So this message is to focus on a person in the form of Rahab, who was able to save or spare the lives of these men who were not of her kin. And she was able to plead her case before these people, knowing in her heart from information that she had seen about them or heard about them, that she wanted to make sure that her family, her kith and kin were spared. So there are several people in these United States that are in strategic positions. And although I would have to say, if I was a betting woman, that the majority of them in these positions or had been in these positions are white. They can be male and female. Which one of you are Rahab? Which one of you are willing to do the right thing by the people of the Most High in order to spare not just yourselves, but your family, your kith and kin, everyone that you know? I alluded to in my last, at the first part of this series, that there were people, we can surmise that there were people in Noah's day as well as in Lot's day in Sodom and Gomorrah that had the possibility, or not the possibility, but the capability of maybe not saving the city, but they could have saved some people, at least their family members, had they actually turned around and did the right thing, which would have been against their normal conduct. But they did not. And in particularly with Noah, they waited until the doors were closed firmly and they couldn't get in. They waited for a physical evidence that was undeniable. And I would say that I'm going to speculate that little pieces of evidence were given all along to these people, but they just slept it off. Especially with Noah, you seeing a man and a couple of his children building this large ship or this large structure on their own, when it would take a force of or a conglomerate of people to do the same, should have been um, evidence enough to let you know that something is different about them. In Lot's situation, you have two angels that showed up at the doorstep of of Lot, and these men would have looked and did look unusual to the people, enough for them to know that something was different. And they went to inquire, but they went to inquire by doing something devilish and devious. And it wasn't until the fire started hitting their city that they realized, we're in trouble, but they could not escape. But unlike them, you have their stories. You have what is to come. And there are some of you, as I said in my last video, that have had communication reached out to you to let you know what is about to go down and what is unfolding now. You know things that the rest of the masses of the people do not know. Your positionality in this system of things has given you access to what the majority of the population has never had access to. Now, the theme is that you will do the same thing as your predecessors, nothing. And then at the very minute after the fact, you will try to do something to save yourselves and your kith and your kin, but it will be too late. You're going to have to consider that this is a zero-sum game for you. You're going to have to understand that the Most High God is that exacting. He or she can save who she wants to save and get rid of the rest without ever touching whom she wants to save. That means a true Hebrew Israelite could be standing right next to you, and they will have a chance to get out of the city while the judgment of the Most High falls down on you and everyone else. This is the story of Lot. The creator of the universe has a way that he can protect his people right in front of your face without you even realizing that he is lining them up for protection, and then leaving you out in the open so that the raindrops or the water hits you and everyone like you. And the only way that you can have safe harbor, if not for yourself, but for your kith and your kin, for your families, is to follow the directions of the Most High and those that the Most High, whose spirit is upon, he has given the roadmap and the path for salvation. They are not going to come to you with a whole bunch of honors. They're not going to come to you front facing. They are going to be what you would consider beneath you, or what you would consider crazy or hocus pocus, right? In the face of the powers of the city, of the powers of the people. But I'm letting you know that you would be wrong. And some of you that Crisis Kingdom administrators have reached out to, you are in possession of not only of information, but you are in possession of tools, mechanisms, and machinery that could be profitable for some of the people, some of white people in the world. And I'm actually, excuse me, not the world, but in America, that could probably have a mercy that will not be bestowed upon the rest. And what the Creator has revealed to me is that your spirit has been moved by their words, but your desire to continue the benefits of white supremacy, even if you have, like for the most of you, You have been humiliated either within your families and or before the world. You have been stripped of some of the honors and accoutrements that have been given to you by the world. And somehow, maybe you feel like, well, there's a way that I can get back. If we change administrations, if they change the corporate structure, if this and that and thus happens, then I can wiggle my way back in and continue to practice white supremacy. And I'm telling you, no, sir, no, ma'am, no, ma'am, not anymore. Some of you know that the angels are not only in the heavens, but they are actually on the earth. And they are also, you may even know that they're engaging those that are anointed and will be consisting of Christ's kingdom administration. So I am saying this to you because the latch is now getting ready to be locked into place on that great ark, that if the creator of the universe is moving your spirit and moving your mind to do something that you have never done before, my suggestion is that you do it and do it quickly, because once the angels start activating and once the army of the earth start activating, there'll be no way that you'll be able to say, oops, okay, now I'm ready to jump in. At that point, the door will be closed. You will not even be able to reach us at all. The phone line will go dead. And I'm going to be honest with you. Personally, I believe, from what I've seen and what I've experienced, that the idea of whiteness, the idea of Americanism, the idea of United States, and the wickedness that it has practiced and the demonic force that has pervaded through it has totally corrupted every last white person on this planet living today. Even in the womb, the corruption begins. And all I can do is my part that the creator of the universe is moving me to do. But honestly, I would be surprised if any one of you would do anything before. Talking and walking, marching as a white person, especially if you are in a position of power, is not enough. It's laughable to the Most High. In the story of Rahab, she did more than just move her lips. She did more. She used her tools, she used her ingenuity to service the children of the Most High. And because she did that, her whole family was spared the destruction that befell the city. She understood that there's no way that the king that she spoke to, the kings that you speak to, the powers that shouldn't be that you engage, the things that you know about the technology and the tools that they have, that they use to prey upon the people. She talked to them, but then she also made sure that she did something mechanical. And so right now, talk is cheap. Marching one foot in front of the other is not going to do it. That's why it didn't work out this time around when there was a No King's Day. Because there's something more that has to be done. And the creator of the universe is not waiting on you. The creator of the universe doesn't bow down to you and tell you and ask you and just go with what you tell him, her, or even us to do. No, you're living in a time now that we tell you what to do. Where Christ's kingdom is instructing you and giving you the orders and the commands, whether you like it or not. So, and if you don't like it, I suggest you can bite down on your finger, or you can just be an adult and hold it in and say that, hey, practically my very survival is on the line here. So when is it time for you to break ranks? And again, all I can do is put it out there. I'm going to leave it up to the creator of the universe to go forward with whatever that the creator of the universe will do to carry this, and leave it at that. I just need to make sure that my side of the street is clean and that I have proof that there was a call out, like the others in Crisis Kingdom Administration that have reached out to various people. And I can guarantee you that most of them have been ignored. Anyway, the time is now, not 2 weeks from now, not 3 weeks from now. The time is now. And the days are moving. And some of you, again, you know what's up in that sky. You know that NASA, what they did was whatever. But even what they're planning, you don't have enough on you to contend with the Most High God. And you don't have enough on you to contend with what's out there. And what's out there is for the children of Israel. What's floating out in the heavens and what's on this earth in the invisible. And in some cases, they might be actually visible now because they can take on human form. So, but it's up to you. It's up to you. Once they actively start engaging in Crisis Kingdom Administration, start actively engaging with the children of Jerusalem, that means the door is closed. You don't get to step in at that point and say, okay, now I'm ready. No, that is like, no, the door is closed. We won't be able to even do anything with you at that point. You got to already be in the mix. That's what I'm saying. So again, it's up to you. Either you will listen to the Spirit or you won't. All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.